So what we're going to do in this exercise is just have a look at the work sets on a project. And here what we're going to talk about is how do I audit the work sets that are on a project. So sometimes on a project, work sets might be important and you might want to audit them for a number of different reasons. And we can have an indicator here on how good models are put together and whether the work sets that are specified in, say, a BIM execution plan or a BIM management plan, whether they make their way through to an audit. So here we're looking at under model quality, under work sets. This is where we can visualize what's going on in the models. So in this project, we've got a whole lot of models in here. And now I want to see the work sets that are compliant or non-compliant. Now, in order to do this, I have to go over to DS command to set up my configuration of this. And so I come over here to DS command, and this is where we're going to configure it. But obviously what we're talking about here is something that's probably written in a BIM management plan. So if I open up this BIM management plan here, we've got a whole section talking about work sets and how they're to be used on this project. Now, what this BIM execution plan is doing here is it's defining the work set name and maybe a reason or a description or a comment around what that work set is to be used for. And we're going to use that information when we go into audit these models. So firstly, we've got to configure it in DS command. So I'm going to jump over to DS command and I'm going to, let's take an example here. So just for reference, we're going to come back over to our model audit dashboard and let's just drill into maybe a discipline here. Let's go to structure, and here I can see all the work sets that are non-compliant, in this case in this report. So they're non-compliant because they haven't been set up. Now if I go back to DS command, this is where we're going to set them up, and I go to my BIM manager navigation over here, and then I've got down here on the left work set sets. We'll talk about that in a minute. And then further down we've got work sets allowed. So these are the work sets approved for use. So I'm going to click into here. Now this is at the workspace level at the moment. So we're going to drill down into the work set. So this is for project 63, and here are all the work sets that are allowed on this project. Now, where did all these come from? Well, they came from the initial first sync to deep space from Revit. That's just a quick way of getting all of these work sets preloaded in here. What you'll notice is they're not all here. And so now that this BIM execution plan has evolved a bit more, we've got more in here. So what I'm going to do is we're talking about a structural work set for a structural file. And we can see down here we've got all of these. Now let's go and do a couple of these. So let's start off with work set retention. What we can do, just as we're looking down here, we can see this work set actually exists in the models, but it doesn't exist in DS command yet. So let's get it. You can see all of these. This model probably has been put together well. And it's just, we've got to configure these now in deep space in order to run our compliance reports. Okay, so we are going to go and add a new record. So the work set, we're going to go back over to our BIM plan here, and we're going to grab this one here, ST retention, and I can copy that, go over here, paste that in here. I've got the work set notes. If I've got no notes here, but if I had, up here, we've got notes around these other work sets. But in my new record here, what work set does this apply to? Work set does this apply to? And then whether it's a grid level work set, no. And are we going to exclude from apps and automations? No, also on that. So hit save, and that's it. So I can go back to show all, grab a new record, come over here, get this piling work set. I'm going to grab that, paste that in there. It's going to apply to this project. It doesn't have these grids applicable. Show all, and that's really it. So I'm going to do one more and then we'll jump back over to Deep Space and we'll refresh the report and have a look at the impact that it's going to have on my project. Not there. And I'm going to hit save. Okay, so back to Deep Space. Okay, now I'm just loading up our model audit dashboard again, and I'm going to jump into model quality and under Worksets. And again, we're looking at the structural model. So let's click on that. And you can see here the non-compliant worksets are no longer here because they're over here as compliant worksets, these newly created worksets. Now, what this is also telling us here is as we look through these worksets, we can see what elements are on them. So we've got some scope boxes on the scope boxes workset, but you'll also notice we've got scope boxes on the ST Foundations workset. So this is a really useful little page. I hope you like it. Let us know if there's anything else that you find interesting when you're looking at worksets as well.